What if I told you that some of the most iconic moments and characters in the Wano Country arc were inspired by real-life history, hidden cultural references, and even a catchy tune that wasn't originally part of the story? Stick around because today we're uncovering 20 fascinating secrets about Wano that you might not know. Did you know that Master Nekomamushi, the eccentric mink leader, was inspired by a song? Before he ever appeared in the manga, Brooks' voice actor Cho made up a song called Let's Go See Master Nekomamushi. Oda loved it so much that he created an entire character around it, integrating the song itself into the story. You may have noticed when characters are introduced in One Piece, their names usually appear in rectangular boxes, but in Wano, Oda has switched things up. Wano characters have their names in scroll-shaped boxes, giving a nod to traditional Japanese scrolls. Momo's introduction is a fun twist. His name initially appears in a rectangular box, only switching to the scroll format after his true identity as the daimyo's son is revealed. Speaking of changes, in most arcs, Oda uses sound effect DIDN when introducing new characters or locations, but in Wano he opted for the ben, mimicking the sound of a shamson, a traditional Japanese instrument. This subtle change adds to the arc's rich cultural atmosphere. Speaking of the shamisen, it's a 3-stringed instrument that fits perfectly with Wano's feudal Japan aesthetic. Oda's attention to detail and using authentic cultural elements is what makes the Wano arc feel so immersive. And that's because Oda has been planning the Wano arc for years. In fact, he mentioned Luffy and the crew would eventually go to Wano long before the arc even began. He was so excited about it that he said, "All of my interests may end up being exposed when that happens." Kazuki Oden's brutal execution, being boiled alive in a pot of oil, wasn't just a product of Oda's imagination, it was inspired by the real-life story of Ishikawa Goemon, a legendary Japanese figure from the 16th century who met a similar fate. Orochi's character in Devil Fruit are based on the mythical Yamato no Orochi, an 8-headed and 8-tailed serpent from Japanese folklore. Ironically, Orochi's favorite drink is the Yashiori no Sake, the same drink that ended Yamato no Orochi's life. On the other side, the Kazuki family crest features a heron, a bird symbolizing patience and determination in Japanese literature. This is a perfect metaphor for the Kazuki family, who waited 20 years to avenge Oden and reclaim Wano. While the rest of the One Piece world uses Denden Mushi for communication, Wano has its own version, Panishi. These resemble tower shell sea snails and add another layer of uniqueness to the isolated country. Speaking of Wano, did you know Wano's official debut wasn't in the manga? It first appeared in the crossover with One Piece Kyoto, the Kyoto Straw Hat Travel Journal, another Wano country. A special event in Kyoto back in 2017, fans could collect stamps themed around One Piece characters and trade them in for exclusive merchandise. Most regions in Wano are named after Japanese foods, at least verbally. For example, kuri could mean chestnut, and udon might make you think of udon noodles. This clever wordplay adds a tasty twist to the Wano arc. In real feudal Japan, the shogun had ultimate military power, but the emperor held the highest authority. In Wano, this dynamic is flipped. Kaido, the emperor, holds all the real power, while Shogun Orochi is just a figurehead. Another Kaido fact is Kaido is also known as the Wise King, a title connected to the Wisdom King's Myo, wrathful deities in Eastern Asian Buddhism. This adds a layer of irony and depth to his character. Along with many other food references in Wano, the 9 Scabbards show their loyalty to Oden through their favorite foods. Each member loves a dish that's typically used as an ingredient in Oden, a Japanese fish cake stew. Oden himself fittingly loves every ingredient in the dish. Wano is packed with references to Rugo, a traditional form of Japanese storytelling. Only true fans of Japanese culture or those who've seen Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju might have caught these subtle nods, but they are there if you know where to look. Did you know the shortest man in One Piece is Hyogoro, the former Yakuza boss? He may be tough, but he's also tiny. Staying at just 3 feet 3 inches tall, he is the shortest adult man in the series, with only Bakin being shorter. Yamato, Kaido's child, was inspired by Oscar Francois de Jaez from a classic shoujo manga. The Rose of Versailles. Both characters were born female but adopted male identities to surpass their powerful fathers. The Wano arc introduced us to some unique animals, all with a flame-like fur, similar to traditional Japanese art. Komachiu the Komainu and Komashika are just a few examples, and Oda hinted that there are many more, we just might not see them in the story. Despite getting some clear information from Shinobu, many Wano residents still believe lies about the Kazuki family. Oda has an interesting explanation for why that is. The oppressive regime used brainwash education on the children, much like real-world propaganda. When Oda was first designing Shinobu, he had a real-world comedian in mind, Naomi Wanabi. However, as he developed her character, he noticed similarities with Jane from Masaya Tokuhiro's manga, Jungle King Ka-chan, and incorporated those elements too. And there you have it. Let me know in the comments which fact surprised you the most.